Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to our live. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. Welcome to YouTube Live. Welcome to Twitter Live. My name is Ceci Munde. I'm your host for this LinkedIn Live. Though I'm not technically your host, I'm your moderator. And I'm hosting this LinkedIn Live with my very good friend, my colleague, my sister, Rosemond Phil-Othihiwa. Are you there?
Hi
Say hello
guys.
to us.
Hello. How are we doing?
I'm fine. Coming out to Christmas, to
Oh
Boxing
yeah,
Day, to New Year, to the holiday season. It's just a
oh,
few days away from now. How have you
definitely.
been?
I've been awesome. Currently doing a lot of things, wrapping up for the year, lots of work, lots of projects going on. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been really good for me thus far. Thank
Imagine that.
you. It's good to have you, SSC. It's been a
Well,
while we've done this.
yes, yes, yes. It's a pleasure. This is our first, probably our first live after 1 year. The last one
Mhm.
was last year doing your master class for the corporate
Yes.
governance manager side of that was like last year, probably
Yes.
August or something. I mean, it's like a year ago now. Wow. So good to catch up.
Thank
So,
you.
guys, if you're on this live, please help us share this with your friends, your family, with your lovers, with Santa Claus, with everybody. Just share. There's something about to go down. It's going to be a very short conversation, but very insightful, very interesting, with lots of surprises and something that would start your new year on a very inspiring note. So, once again, welcome to this live. I'm going to dive straight into the conversation. This live is focused on Rosemond's upcoming book, which is titled Success Through Service, Elevate Your Career, Elevate Your Life. Did I get that correctly?
Oh yeah, Jeff, you did, you did, you did, you
Ah,
did.
wow, I'm so happy I got it correctly. So, Rosemond wrote that book to have this pre live, the pre-book launch live, just to talk about the book, have conversation around it, and see how we can inspire ourselves as professionals and as young people who are trying to find their feet in the corporate world and the professional world. Rosemond, I know you, and a few of us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on maybe YouTube, so we know you. I bet a lot of people don't know you very well.
Mm.
So can we meet you? And
Hmm.
don't tell me that your name is Rosemond. You know your
Oh, wow.
name. Can you tell us those things that people don't really know about you
Mm.
professionally? For
Okay.
example, I know you are a Google
For
Startup Accelerator
establishment.
mentor.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
so just tell us a few things about your journey and those things people don't really know about you and you would like to share
Mm.
that are comfortable sharing right now.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to keep this very short. I know that we have very like short time. So for those of you watching, first of all, thank you for being here. Yes, I had to start with my name. My name is Rosemond. Phil-Othihiwa, and I call myself who my essence is or what my essence is before I talk about what I do. So I would say that I'm an energizer. That simply means that I have energy and I love to bring energy into spaces. That's something that's my unique identifier in quote. I'm privileged to practice the subject matter of law, and I'm a corporate commercial lawyer. That simply means that I'm more inclined towards dealing with a lot of corporate commercial transactions. You'll find me working in the technology space. I have worked in the technology space for about 4 years. And prior to that, I had a very good background as a corporate lawyer or corporate attorney who was also in a boutique law firm where we did lots of litigation. I was privileged to learn the rubrics and the tenets of foundational corporate practice, both out of court and even in court, beyond just the regular means of practice. I worked with the Senior Advocate of Nigeria and then became a partner in a law firm before I find myself now consulting and working with technology companies. That's a little bit about myself. What do people not know about me professionally? I don't think there's anything I have not said about myself professionally, but I'll possibly say something that is not professional as much. So I always like to say that I'm a musician. I love music and I play the piano. I play jazz. So let's just say that that's something interesting that a lot of people do not know because it's been a while I found myself on a stage. But if you drop me there, I can't get lost, especially on the piano. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
That's not so little. That's a lot. A lot unpacked in a few seconds, a few minutes. That's really amazing. And I
I
will
know,
let the
right?
cat out of the bag a little. What people don't know about Rosemond that I know, Rosemond is a serial, I'll say it, she's a serial volunteer.
Hmm.
She's a serial
Yes.
volunteer. Like, when I say volunteer, I don't just mean anyhow volunteer. I mean intentional volunteering and service. And that happens to be
Hmm.
the core of her new book and also the core of our conversations this evening. But I won't go into that. I'll leave her to talk about that later. Rosemond, you have a new book now.
Yeah.
You know, success through service. Elevate your career, elevate your life. Obviously, the book is about professionals, it's about success, it's about finding your feet. I mean, that is a lot to say for a
Yeah.
young person who is just a decade, well, not just, pardon me, who is a decade in the professional space. You've not done 20 years, you've not done 3 decades. Why are you writing a book this early? Why? So, what's your inspiration? What is your why? And,
Hmm.
just tell us how did it even happen in the first place? And how did you now
Hmm.
get to the point where you have this book that's about to be launched to the public?
Thank you. So I think the journey really started from, I think I started getting the very serious urge to do this from last year, 2023, which marked my ninth year legally post call. So I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2014. As far as the law is concerned, the day you are called to bar, you are 1 year at the bar. So if you're going to count that, I was nine. And with the Gregorian calendar, the typical way of calculating years, I was 10, or I was nine, sorry. And then and I had gone through a lot of seasons. I've moved from the seeking for a job phase to learning pupillage phase to having to serve someone even within the practice phase to having to become a partner in a law firm phase to discovering that this path is not suited for me to then becoming a person of your own and doing your practice in your own way phase to now working in a very typical niche. So all through that, all the journey literally has looked into the other. And I can say for a fact that it has always been an upward progression. That's not to say that I've not had challenges, but I gained clarity in my journey. So
Hmm.
when people see what I do or I've been able to do, that I've been privileged to be blessed to have in terms of success metrics and a lot of things which I talk about in the book, I have questions. A lot of people reached out to me and say they reach out to me a lot and say, "Oh, I'm struggling with this. I just got into this firm. I don't know how to, navigate myself, or I'm even confused as regards my career." But lots of questions. And honestly, I felt bad because I felt like I wasn't being as present for them as I should have or I could have, right? I felt like I really could have done better in terms of being hands on, but because there was no time, and like you said, I'm a serial volunteer and I'm running a firm and I'm running a consultancy company and I'm dealing with a lot of things. So the time to really sit down and have mentorship conclaves consistently wasn't coming, the opportunity wasn't coming. And I just got the inspiration. I believe very strongly that, Spirit God literally just helped me and said, why don't you document your journey? Right, and share because somebody will definitely learn from that. I don't think there's anything that makes you qualified to write a book. You can write a book on anything, even on your mistakes. Even your mistakes are a story that can be told and learned from. So I took the leap of faith, right? To be honest with you, this book launch ought to have happened way before now, but I'm glad that I executed, right? I wrote the book in less than 3 months. I had to get an accountability person who literally walked me through my journey. So the book talks about my journey. All those things I mentioned are very critical points that I found has made me achieve a couple of things I've been able to, right? And the clarity that comes, that's moving from confusion to conviction is one of the
Wow.
things that is really a huge point for me in my journey. So I felt like I may not be able to talk to you one on one, but the book in your hands can do that. Right. So that's really the reason why I decided to write the book. Thank you.
That's such a powerful and compelling why, Rosemond. Like, really, really compelling. And two things you said stood out for me, even though I'm your friend and I like to let with everybody. You said you moved from confusion to conviction, and
Yeah.
that you gain clarity on your journey. I'll say no more. If you know, you know.
You know,
All right, so
right?
let me ask you about, yeah, what are the things you spoke about in the book? And I've read the book a little bit. I read the first chapter yesterday. I mean, very early in the morning, around 4 a.m. I'm like, wow. I read the way he talked about your first job and how you met a lawyer in the court and you loved the way the lawyer delivered his advocacy and you meant to meet this lawyer and say, oh, sir, I like the way you deliver. Can I volunteer? And let me just let me not say much. But I really love that story. It was so raw, it was so authentic, it was so, also vulnerable too, to tell us how you started. So, what are the other things that you spoke about in the as per topics and ideas, things that you wanted to tell people about, and they can learn from your experiences on their own journey? Just give us a snippet. I need you also tell us so we can buy
Yeah.
the book. So just give
If I
us
if I would say so
wet
myself,
appetite.
if I would say so myself, I talk about a lot of things. Like I said, the book is like in a story format. So it's kind of like you're reading gists, right? But from the
Yeah,
gist, you're learning something because
and
I always
learning.
make sure that
Okay.
at the end of every chapter, I explain the principles that I applied that I believe
Yeah.
work. So the example you gave was in 2015, where I just got out of NYC. And there's this thing about when you get out of NYC, you're trying to secure your first job and everything, right? I wasn't yet, I served in Ocean State. And I wasn't really
Mm,
quite sure that I wanted to stay back, but I was like, I didn't want to waste time. So rather than
yeah.
throwing CVs all over the place, right, I just went to the courts and went to observe the way, things were happening there. Yeah, so some of the other things I talk about in the book was what my call to bar ceremony was like, how I felt that period, then how I got my major first job because I did series of volunteering things before I got my permanent first job, right? And
Wow.
I shared this a lot because I volunteered at the NBA at the Nigerian Bar Association Ikeja branch. I volunteered to just be a paralegal for a judge. I volunteered to work with a lawyer who was having his practice back then. And then finally, how I got my first job via LinkedIn. I talked about it in the book, exactly what happened. Yes.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
LinkedIn pioneer. LinkedIn
Oh,
pioneer.
when everybody's shouting and LinkedIn, like I'd been on LinkedIn since 2000 and 2013, 2014. That's when I officially
Wow.
joined LinkedIn. So, I mean, it was through LinkedIn that I got my first job. So I talk about that. Then I talk about dealing with failure. I talk about
Mm,
understanding whether you need to start with a niche practice at the beginning of your career or you have to wait out to be a generalist first, right?
yeah.
Um, and one of the things that you would get in the book is that it's not a one size fits all approach, but there are some practical
Mm,
principles that let you know when to do what, right? I talk about networking. In this social media age, everybody wants to network their way up, right? But there is a
yeah.
way to network without giving the impression that you are networking because you need something. So I talk about not just networking for networking's sake. I talk about building relationships, earning trust. I talk about how you relate with mentors who are above you. I talk about how to relate with people who are your peers. I talk about how to relate with people who are below you, right? I talk about why it's important to volunteer when you are found or you commit to being in a committee. And one of the things
Mm,
that really helped me professionally was the kinds of committees I joined. You and I mean, let's not even go too far, right? I came into the MBA Keja branch, and you were the chairman of the Continuing Legal Education committee at the time that were responsible for doing CLE programs for lawyers.
Seminars.
I
Yeah.
just came to the committee and I don't even know how I became secretary. It's like you just looked at me and said, "Oh, Rosemond, come and be
I
my secretary."
got you.
I mean, I
That's too
just,
much energy. I'm like,
I
energy
mean,
is too much. Please, let's use energy.
right? I was like, I need to, yeah. And I became the secretary. And before from being secretary, I became the chairperson. I was the chairperson for two
Chairperson.
tenures
Yeah.
before I moved to
I
the
get it.
MBA SBL. where I was secretary for the Corporate Governance and Compliance Committee, and now I'm the vice chair, right? So, I mean, I talk about how all these things basically add to your confidence, help you to really build connections with people, and how it can earn you some certain level of trust, equity, not just in the eyes of your clients, but also your professional colleagues, right? Other things I talk about the book, and I'll end here, is how to deal with failure. Everybody is shiny online. Everybody is successful on LinkedIn. People don't talk about what they go through behind closed doors. So I share a couple of things, a lot of mistakes I made that I wish I didn't make, but I also share what I learned from those mistakes. I talk about how to deal with disappointments and failures. I'm not the best person to deal with disappointments, right? So I talk about that as well. And then, I those are a couple of things, few things, but the rest is left for you to find out when you get the book. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a teaser for you. Go get that book now. Otherwise, next year. I know what to tell you. Next year. I know we're going to say a lot of things about mentoring, but I'll call it reverse mentoring. I don't want to go into that deeply, but I know I met you because just like you, I also had the same experience. When you came into the MBA Kenya branch, Young Lawyers Forum, you didn't come for what you could get. You
Mm.
came for what you could give, and you really got a lot. In fact, actually, if we're asking by a young lawyer who is an ideal young lawyer, like a mentor for young lawyers, like let me even use the word young professional. I actually reference. I'm gonna look at Rosemont's LinkedIn profile. He's just gonna look at what she's doing. She's a model, and she's doing these things now. But we knew how she started, and she started with us, so we can tell you that she didn't just jump to this stage. She literally walked from the bottom. Now we are here. You understand? Well done for being a very good model, for being, I mean, serving genuinely, and for embodying the values of intentional networking and just service, genuine service,
Yeah.
without looking for what you gain, obviously for what you're going to give to people. I want to ask you a very striking question, and I know people are on this journey right now and they want
Mm.
to get value. But let me talk to our audience who are online. I can see Adeyemo Sololokwe. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Sololokwe. Says looking forward to the book launch. Yeah, same here. I can see Perpetual. Pardon me, I can't pronounce your first name, but Perpetual is easy to pronounce. Thank you. I can see clapping emoji. Thank you
Yes, I
too.
also
I
see
can
I
see
also see Rita
Ugona.
as well. Ah, my people.
Yeah, and Ugona is there too.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much, Ebola. Thank you,
Thank you guys for
Rita,
showing
for
up.
being
Thank you
here.
guys for joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Glad to have you guys here. So I was talking about there's a thing that people are going through right now. I spoke about it before we went live. You said that if there's something you want to do as a person, it's best to just start, get
Hmm.
it done, and go back and see how to correct and how to get better than trying to figure out, oh, let me do 10 steps and
Mm-hmm.
you never start. So, how did you conceive this idea of this book,
Hmm.
write this book, publish this book, and I'm about to launch it in February? How did you do it? Yeah, in the midst of your very hectic schedule. I know kind of job you do, how demanding it is, even on weekends, and you're able to pull this off. How did you do that? Because I have a book that's inside me now.
Hmm.
I've not brought out. I'm like, this what I wrote to the book before me. Oh, I was up for my hand next year. So how did you do this?
So first of all, I'll just say it takes a village. That's the truth. Honestly,
Wow.
I can come here and say, oh, I wrote the book in 1 week and edited it and did it in 2 weeks. Blah blah blah. To be honest, so give or take, the conception of this book was in around September to December 2023. I kept having the nudge in my spirit that I needed to write this book. And I was like, how do they to write book? It's by writing the book now, right? I can do whatever. So I met a friend at an event, and we were just talking, talking, talking. And he said, oh, I help people publish their books and, do that. I was like, oh, okay. I have an idea to write a book. Oh, let's see now, let's talk. We set up our first meeting, and then he walked me through the process as regards what it would take and everything. I was like, okay, please, can you be my accountability person, right? That you can keep tabs on me to write this book, right? You need to help me. And I didn't just call him an accountability partner for calling's sake. I paid him. How much I paid him, sef? As in, like,
Wow.
I can't even say how much I paid him because it was a lot. Like, as in, at the time, I paid him. I said, I'm paying you this money to help me on this journey. please be my accountability partner, and because it was also going to be my publisher as well. So I just put everything together and said, okay, help me with this process. So he will constantly send me messages. Okay, where are we? Oh, yeah, chapter one. I mean chapter two. So everything I did, I sat down my laptop and typed it. Now I know better that there's a better way to write with speed and efficiency. But I used my. I've never. I mean, I've
Manual
never.
way.
I so I
Yes.
did it, and I think I was able to do in, I would say, 2 months. I was done with the first naked
Wow.
draft, but I
Drafts. Yeah.
I now got distracted because there were lots of branch and bar activities. So March I was already done with the book, but I think July, April, May, June, right? Not much activity moved, so that was paused, and
Yes.
so I had to go back and all that. Then it got to the point where I was like, you know what, Rosemond, you have to do this again, right? And I'm
Mm,
thankful that I wrote the first draft. But to be honest, I don't know if Rita is on this call and going on this call. Literally, they helped me beyond just the my editor looking at it and reading. I feel like they are the ones that even wrote the book because I wrote in baby language, and then Rita and they took the everything I wrote and made it
yeah.
make sense, right, in terms of grammar, and it was a lot of work on them. So that took some time. But the point was that it took a village, to be honest. I had the support of of my friends, of my publisher, to just keep tabs on me, even though there are times I was delaying. So that really, really helped. And then when it got to my birthday, and my birthday was in November, I said, I need to hasten up this because this was an instruction number one. And one of the things that I've realized, like you said, it is okay to have a goal. It is okay to feel like you need to do something. But what shows that you are truly committed to yourself is when you finish what you start. It's very easy to start,
Mm,
very difficult to finish because you would always meet roadblocks on the way, right? And for basically anybody watching, possibly there's a project that you know that you are delaying from executing. What you are doing is that you are denying the world something that could be genuinely reflective of your essence. So commit to yourself and kick off from where you stopped, right? And so I did that, and a friend of mine just called me in my bed and said, Madam, how far? This your book. What's going on? Why have you not talked about it yet? I said, book has not come out, though, but we are still doing this. He said, will you go and do a pre-launch link, my friend? There, and there,
wow.
right? He created the link for the payments, did the brochure, did the design, everything, did it at once. And that's how I did the pre-launch on my birthday. To be honest, I didn't wake up one morning and say I wanted to do that. But one of the things I have learned is that sometimes execution is better than being perfect, right? You can wait for the most
Mm, mm,
instance and it will never
mm.
come. Execute first, you will learn later, right? And I think that's one of the things that always helps me because I move first. Then, if we made a mistake, we'll correct it. I try not to punish
Yes.
myself for being too perfect. I will not being perfect. I feel like that holds people back a lot, right? So just do it. I mean, you will correct it, as it's going. So that's
Yeah.
really
On the
how
way.
we here. It took a year. It ought to have taken less, but I'm not blaming myself, right? But I'm just grateful for my friends and those people who held me accountable in one way or the other to get this out. And finally, I was able to get my mentor to write the foreword of the book, and he was so excited. I was able to submit the draft to him, and he was really, really impressed. So I think it was a good way to really end the year, and I'm excited about what 2025 is going to be, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an inspiring story. So much to unpack in those few minutes. And
Yeah.
what I'm taking away from this is that you see, it's easy to say, oh, hold me accountable, help me do something. Are you willing to do something that would really, really, I mean, that would are you willing to be true to yourself to the extent that it will cost you something?
Yeah.
She had to pay an accountability. I think I'm going to do that already. Like December, I want to pay somebody money now to help me write the book so that he or she will push me to my goal. So that's something that we should really, really think about deeply. Are you willing to bring that money or make a sacrifice that will make somebody else be very committed to
Mm-hmm.
help you achieve your commitment? That's a lot for me. I'll think about that later. But finally, Rosemond, it's 7 p.m. I think it'll be a very short one because we'll have this in
Yeah.
series. So finally, I think you're having a lunch. This is just pre-order. And please, by way of by I mean, let me say this, please. If you want to get this book, not even if you want to get this book, you have to get this book.
The
You
link,
have
I'll
to
put the
because
link in the comment
the link is
section.
here.
Just
Just
click
go
on
to
it.
bit.ly/success through service. Just go and click that link now. Swipe your card, buy that book. There's power in peer-to-peer mentoring. Yeah, you're going to
Mm,
get mentors who are above us, who are senior, and it's very good. But sometimes when you see those who are your peers, right, same generation, same age grade, who are doing something you're trying to do, or have done better, like, at times it's very, it makes you real. This journey is actually real. And I'm not far from success. I'm already on that journey. I just want to do one or two things more,
yeah.
and I'll get there. So please go to that link right now, bit.ly/success through service. Buy that book. Buy that book. In fact, if you don't buy that book, you come to the book launch. That's
I
your
mean,
ticket to the book launch. And that's where we
exactly.
will launch the book that day. So go and buy that book. Go and buy it. Go and buy right now. Go and buy that book. So Rosemond, now what
Mm,
should we expect? Come February at the physical launch. I'm happy that I even do the physical launch. It's not just the virtual launch. The physical launch, you can actually see ourselves, connect, work, can actually, get to interact. What should we expect that day? What should we
wow,
look
it's
forward
gonna be a
to? What should
surprise, but
we,
let me
get?
say
Yeah,
something.
just give us some snippets about that.
It's gonna be okay. So there's no surprise. So yeah, the book launch physically happens sometime in February, latter end of February. So yeah, and like every book launch, there's going to definitely be little tips of some of the things that we've spoken about, what led to it. I'm going to be having my mentors in the room. For those who don't know, everyone who played a journey or it played a very huge role in my professional journey is going to be there present. Typically, please, you need to look out for Mr. Olatunde Adejuigbe SCN, who is actually my first boss, my mentor, where I got my first job, and he's going to be there. He's literally I would say, a lot of things he did for me. Is the reason why I've been able to stand on my feet the way I have now. So he's going to be there. I have a couple of other huge mentors that I look up to who are also going to be there because they see me as their baby and they're like, oh, my baby's coming to do something. This is really going to be good. We're going to have a talk and just going to be one session where we talk about this thing about career growth. And we're going to have like veterans who have walked their talk. So there's going to be opportunities for networking as well. And then the book launch officially. One of the things that I did in this pre-launch was to make people understand a couple of things to expect. So if you get on the link right now, you would see what the book talks about, and then we would have that being unveiled officially. So nobody gets to see the physical copy of the book until that day, right? So that's gonna be like a very good highlight of the event. And then of course I'm gonna be having my family, I'm gonna be having my friends, special guests of honor. I even have somebody who's going to be flying in all the way from Abuja and Kano, one of my mentors, also going to be at the event, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's like I said, it's just a place it's a place where people are going to meet people in their same space, and for those people who, one way or the other, have been trying to connect with me, and unfortunately, we've not had the time, you would have the opportunity to finally meet me one on one. So I'm also looking forward to it as well. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and, yes, sharing the amazing thing that we're about to bring into the world, right? So I also need to say this. I have been told to extend the discounts for the payment of the book, right? November was my birthday. I launched the book using a code. So maybe Ceci will tell you about that. But if you really, if so, right now, if you're on this live, and this is for only those people who attended this live, if you're privileged to rewatch it, you are lucky.
Yeah.
If you click the link and you purchase the book, put the discount birthday, BIRTHDAY in capital letters. It takes the discount off the original amount by 20%. So you can do that. And that your payment gives you automatic access to the book launch itself. Right. So if you did not pre-order, you may not be able to come if you are not a specially invited guest. So thought to mention that. Thank you.
Yes, so go get that book right now. My friends, you are watching this video, this live as a replay. That is the event of 2025 that you must not miss. You must make plans to attend it, right? And it's just 8,000 naira, money for. if I don't know, maybe dinner or something, lunch, it's very cheap. Please go get that book. Please go get that book. And let's catch up February next year. Then it will review to you and everything. So I've read the book a little bit. Honestly, I'm impressed with Rosemond. I'm inspired by her journey, by her intentionality, and it's a lot of inspiration. For me, I'll buy copies in my office, and anybody that comes in as a young lawyer, we give them a copy. This is a handbook that you have to read. Just 8,000 naira. In January, might change.
Ah,
I don't know. So now
you've
you
seen
have like 2 weeks
no.
now and next week. Before
Post
the
the
year
law.
comes to an end, January, it might, I don't know, it might go up. So please,
Yeah.
8,000 naira. And there's a discount if you're on this call now, or you see if you play, get a discount. Please don't sleep on it. Don't play. Don't play. Rosemond, thank you for spending
Mhm.
your time. It's already 7 p.m. I said we'll just have a very short one. Thank you for the time. Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for gifting the world a part of your essence. I know this book is for posterity, it's for people that will come after us and see how you walked this path and how you were able to share a story, even at a very young age. Well done and kudos to you. And I wish you a very amazing book launch. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hosanna. Thank you, Nosa. Thank you, Torino. Everyone that was on this call, Ugona, Perpetua, Rita, and those who will see the replay later. Thank you, guys. Watch out for our next pre book launch live in January. You have that one somewhere, Instagram. I don't know somewhere, but watch out for that. And it's
Okay.
going to be very exciting. And also watch out for our updates, our emails as we build up gradually to the book launch in February. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing holiday and
It's
happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year
Please
in advance.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye,
Thank you so much
everyone.
for being here. Thank you. Have an amazing evening, everyone. Bye.